Songbirds, you know what? Today we are talking all things singing with joy and singing for joy with renowned voice teacher and vocal coach Justin Stoney from New York Vocal Coaching. Welcome, Justin. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Kerri. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure. Now, Justin, you know, today you're an internationally recognized voice coach, vocal coach, and not only do you work with singers, but you also work with singing teachers. You know, you founded this thriving vocal coaching business called New York Vocal Coaching. And you know, you've worked with artists who have, you know, gone on to be finalists on shows like The Voice and X Factor, and, you know, you've helped many singers maybe land their first leading roles on Broadway. But what I really want to know is, you know, did you pop out of your mum's womb singing, like, you know, belting out on high E or something like that? Like, how did it all start for you, Justin?
No. I mean, it didn't come naturally for me, to be honest with you. And
really?
Yeah, no. So I started off playing the piano as a young child. And then I later got into singing in like some rock bands and things like that. And then I studied opera, and then I got really into musical theater. So I kind of did a little bit of everything, but I was not a natural singer at all. I took voice lesson after voice lesson with many different teachers and had to really figure it out. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? I think that's going to just encourage so many singers out there today, you know, like singers who sort of ask that question all the time. You know, can anyone sing?
Yeah.
You know? And obviously your belief is that anyone can sing. And what I love about your philosophy, you know, and it's all sort of written all over your website and things like that, is that you say humans are meant to sing.
Yeah.
And you also talk about making a joyful noise, which is why we're talking about singing with joy today with you.
Yeah.
Can you sort of unpack that a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, whether you are a person of faith or not, you know, singing is so attached to the deepest parts of ourself, you know. So for me, when I say make a joyful noise, that does come from a place of faith. And I believe that singing is our primary worship tool. And so when we are singing, we're making a joyful noise to the Lord, as the quote would have it. But even if you're not a person of faith, I think everybody knows that when you sing, it's connected to something deep inside you. Some part of your identity or some part of what you have to say and what you have to share with the world. So, you know, for some, it's a spiritual thing. For others, it's a deep thing. But for all of us, it's an important thing, I think, to express what's in the deepest part of our soul.
Oh, that is just so beautiful, Justin. And so, you know, you mentioned, I mean, from your own experience, I mean, it didn't come naturally to you. So you worked hard, right? You worked hard at actually getting to where you are today as a singer and as a voice coach, right? So tell me, like, you know, how did you get to the point of actually finding this as your calling then, when it was just so not natural to you at the beginning?
Oh, boy, it wasn't my idea, I'll tell you that right now. I always said that the last thing I would ever want to do is be a voice teacher.
No
Anything besides that. Give me anything else. That's the last thing that I'd ever want to do. Because I came to New York to be a professional singer and actor and performer. And I'm from a little small town in Michigan. And people would ask me, oh, so you're into this music thing. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to teach? Or like, what if it doesn't work out? Well, you could always teach. And I would say, no. If I don't make it as a singer, I'll go back to school. I'll be a, I don't know, doctor, scientist, something like that. But I'm not going to be a teacher. That's the last thing I would ever want to do. But as it turns out, 2 weeks upon arriving in New York, I was at an audition. And it's one of my first auditions. I was waiting in the waiting room, and a man walks in and he says, does anybody in here play the piano?
Right.
I kind of raised my hand, and he says, okay, come out in the hall. I need to talk to you. So how well do you play? I said, yeah, pretty well. Do you think you could sight read? I think I could. He's like, okay, gets on his cell phone. I've got some kid here. Yeah, the kid thinks he can do it. Okay, well, we're going to take the kid. He says, finish up your audition, come down the hall. Our accompanist dropped out at the last second. We need a pianist now. And I said, oh, okay. Go back in the waiting room. The monitor says to me, do you know who that is? I said, no, I don't know who he is. He says, that's one of the greatest casting directors of all time. He cast Broadway, he cast TV film, he cast big television shows, movies. I said, oh my gosh. Never been more nervous in my life. I finished my audition. I go down the hall, and here I am, 23 years old, been to New York for 2 weeks, and I'm playing for Broadway stars that I recognize. I'm playing their songs. And what happened? Be kidding me. This is a real story. Yeah. What happened was they didn't have their music for some reason for this new Broadway show. And so I was having to teach them their music right there in the audition.
Wow.
At the end of this day, I said to the casting director, don't pay me. Take 2 headshots and call me when I'm right for something. And he said, no, I'll pay you. I'll take the headshots. But he said, I want to tell you something. I think you have what it takes to be a great vocal coach in this city. And I said, oh, vocal coach? No, no. You know, I had my bartending license. I was going to be a bartender and an actor, you know. And when the greatest casting director of his time says, you have what it takes, you say, all right, well, I guess I better listen.
Yeah.
And so I put out a few flyers at the studios in New York, and suddenly people kept coming to me, and they never wanted to leave. and I ended up realizing, you know what, I actually like this better than performing. I never lost the love. I just fell more passionately in love with another called voice teaching and vocal coaching. And so I eventually transitioned and just said, I want to devote my whole life to doing this the best I can.
Wow. And you know what? We are all the more better for it, Justin, honestly. So thank you for actually heeding that call. You know, even though it was something you totally didn't expect, you totally weren't pursuing, you know, but obviously it was the path that God had you on. So how incredible.
Amen.
So, you know, in terms of like, I guess going, okay, I'm going to do this and actually realizing that you love it more. Tell me, what do you love about it so much, that even more than performing?
Very easy question, because I realized in my teaching day many years ago that every single hour of my day, I'm using my gifts to make others better, to empower them, to encourage them, to see positive results in their life. Like, it happens every single time. And what I really wanted out of performing and singing and acting anyway was to be a part of powerful, life-changing projects, you know, whether it was theater or TV film stuff. I wanted to be a part of really inspiring projects. And I did many projects, but, you know, frankly, not all of them were that inspiring, you know.
Right.
And some shows were not even that good, you know. So sometimes you're in these great shows and it's awesome. There's nothing like it. But the percentage of times where I was having that impact was, you know, I don't know, 15%. But here in my voice teaching day, it's 100%, and it's all day, every day. And I said, I really am doing this to try to make a positive difference in people's lives. So why would I choose this one where I can sometimes get it versus this one where I can't always get it?
Wow.
That was what really made the decision.
Wow, that is so powerful, and I resonate with that 120%. You know, it's that transformation that you see in your students that's just like nothing else, isn't it? And it's not just their voices that And it's not just their voices that transform. I mean, have you witnessed other forms of transformation as you have worked with someone on their voice?
Oh, absolutely. And going back to the other topic about joy, that's really where I see that, because, you know, like I said, if somebody's got a spiritual approach to it, you know, that's beautiful. If somebody just approaches it as a part of their inner journey, that's also beautiful. But the singing has a spiritual power, And I have always, and I have always noticed that as one works on their singing voice, these parts of our inner journey just magically take off, like without even working on it. Like, oh, where did that confidence come from? Yeah. Where did those risks that I couldn't take come from? You know, where did my self-doubt go? It's gone now. Yeah. You know, I'm not as hard on myself anymore, etc. So as one works on their singing voice, these other things just magically happen. And then here's the crazy thing. As we're working on ourselves, yes, sometimes I've noticed the voice just takes off.
Yes.
Like, you know, you take a big risk in your personal life that you've been, you know, holding back for so many years, and then you break through that, and then suddenly you can sing that high note.
Wow.
It's just, and I realized that very early on in my singing life. It was what made me want to be a singer. Is as I was working on my voice, I was growing as a person, and as I was growing as a person, I was growing with my voice. So they are intertwined.
Very intertwined, yes. Oh, very powerful. Do you have any like specific stories that you can actually share with us of a student or even of yourself, you know, where that really came into play and just like hit you in the face?
Well, I mean, this is a hard question actually, because it happens every day. Yeah. And to pick and choose from so many. I mean, I keep a miracle list every day. I've been keeping a miracle list for many years, and I literally write down the miracles that happen, and they always do. And so I've noticed that with the singers too. They're constantly making breakthroughs. But I will share one that I always love to share, which was a gentleman who came to me, and he was told that his voice basically wasn't masculine enough. This was
masculine.
Masculine enough.
Right.
This was the reality he had lived with for many, many years. And he came to me because he had a vocal injury. The doctors said he has just grinded his vocal cords to shreds. And he was kind of like talking like this and trying to really drive his voice all the way down. And I said to him just one thing, which was, you know, it's okay to bring your voice up here like this. Yeah. And he burst into tears, and he had been told for his entire upbringing in childhood that he must never speak like that. If he spoke like that, he was in big, big trouble. Wow. And all he really needed was somebody to say, hey, you know, it's okay. I give you permission. I accept you. I accept your true vocal identity. I won't make your voice have to be something that it's not. I want you to accept your voice for what it is and what it wants to be. And when he did that, his vocal injury went away within a couple months. And it was kind of miraculous there, because he'd been wrestling with that for years and years, and nobody was there to tell him, your voice is okay as it is. And it changed his health. It changed his life.
Amazing. I love the idea of keeping a miracle list. I think I might actually take that leaf out of your book.
Thanks, Rob. Oh, it's just so awesome, Kerri. Like, because I've had it for many, many years. And to look back, I even do it once per year on January 1st. I look back at the entire list for that year, and I just say, how could this much have happened, you know, in 1 year? And to reflect like that is powerful.
Incredible. If anything's going to bring joy, it's that, you know, like just like reflecting on and remembering all the transformation that you were able to be a catalyst of. And I encourage all singers who are watching to also do the same thing for yourself. Like when you have any sort of breakthrough, whether you think it's a tinsy-wincy little breakthrough or it's like this massive thing, it doesn't matter. Write it down, hey? And then on days when you're feeling a little bit down on yourself, you know, a little bit discouraged, feeling like you're not where you want to be as a singer, go and look through that miracle list, hey? What do you reckon, Justin?
I love that idea. Yes. let's all keep a miracle list. It's a great practice.
Oh, I think it's just the best idea ever. Now, Justin, can I get you to just move a little bit more to your right, just so that we can always see your face? Yeah, there you go. Now you're in center view. Amazing.
All these angles. There we go.
Yeah, awesome. Now, Justin, would you share with us a story of somebody who you've been working with or have worked with in the past, who was able to then land one of their, first leading roles on Broadway, or a record deal, or, become a finalist on one of those singing competitions? Do you have any story that kind of stands out that will encourage songbirds?
Well, yeah, I think so. My favorite is maybe my most proud student. I'm proud of everybody, but Tony Shalloub, who's the star, he's the star of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and he was Monk for many years. Tony won the Tony for his role in The Band's Visit, but when Tony was sent to me, he's not a singer. Right. And he doesn't think of himself as a singer at all. In fact, he was just terrified of singing, like a nervous wreck about it. And he doesn't have, a background really as a singer. And he worked so hard. And just devoted himself. Like you'd think, okay, a big star who's got all these awards and experience, like he put himself in like beginner's mode and said, teach me, mold me, guide me, I'll do anything, because I was given this lead role on Broadway. And I don't know, he said, I don't know why they gave it to me, because I'm not a singer, but I got the role and now I have to really do this. And he devoted and devoted. And he won a Tony Award for his performance. And it's like to see him at the beginning when he is just terrified to even sing one note, to then win like the highest award for that several months later. I mean, I don't know how it can get any better than that.
That's incredible. And another testament to, the truth that you don't have to be a naturally born talented singer to even win leading roles on Broadway and to actually win Tony Awards as well. Like, he came to you with such hunger because he didn't feel like it was the thing that he did naturally or did well. And I find that those are the students who really, really defy the odds and actually, they go on the miracle list, right?
They do, yeah, they really do. He's on there several times.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And I'm sure you're on his miracle list. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe. He might just keep on.
Well done. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that story. And I'm sure you have many, many more. But yeah, that's just so inspiring. And I hope that story inspires you songbirds out there who are watching. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it's the natural thing that you do well. If you pursue it and you seek out the training and the learning, it's possible, right?
Yes. Definitely.
Now, Justin, you are definitely a man of many, many different dimensions. I mean, we've already talked about a few. You started out as a pianist and, you play a lot of instruments. You were a musical director. But one that I'm really fascinated by is that you're actually a certified yoga instructor.
I am a certified yoga instructor.
Please explain.
Yeah, well, I was doing a lot of yoga classes many years ago and teaching voice. And I would leave the yoga class and I would sort of be like, oh my goodness, my voice. It's so thick and rich and flowing. And how did this happen? I just was doing some downward dogs and now this has occurred. and so I said, there's got to be something to this. Why does my voice feel so glorious after every yoga class? And, it's the breathing and the stretching and the opening and the balance of flexibility and strength. And I said, I want to know all about this so that I can help my singers better. And so I became a certified yoga instructor. I've never taught one yoga lesson in my entire life, but I take those concepts of anatomy and movement and breath and use those at times in the lessons. So that's what
Oh, it's fantastic because the voice and the body are just so intertwined, hey? And whatever's going on with your body is going to directly affect your voice, you know, for good and for bad. And yeah, I mean, I have actually experienced the magical effects of yoga myself on my voice too. So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
Now, another, I guess, aspect of, you know, using the body and how that affects your voice is Alexander technique.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little bit of a, you know, just unpack in a couple of sentences, what is Alexander technique and how can it help singers?
Yeah, it's another great practice. So Alexander technique is basically the study of how to move one's body the most efficiently. And so, yeah, so even like when we're just getting up from a chair or walking downstairs, are there certain, you know, movements that we do that are very inefficient for us? And is there a simpler, nicer, better way? And there always is. And when we learn to treat our body that way and have wonderful alignment and wonderful efficiency of movement, it makes things better, makes your voice work better, and it helps you to undo tensions that are sometimes very limiting.
Love it. Can you give us an example?
Well, yeah, sure. So like if I'm sitting in the chair and I always kind of get up like that.
Right.
You know, why did I need to do that? Yeah, why did I need to do that with my neck? Maybe there was a nicer way to do that. And so everybody has different tendencies of their physical movement. And it's just identifying what are those tendencies and is there a better way for each person?
Absolutely. It sounds to me like it's like little tweaks like that in your body can just yield huge results.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Now I know you're also an avid researcher, and you know you love like voice science and vocal anatomy and all of that good stuff. You know, is there any sort of recent, I guess, voice research that is really fascinating you right now that you'd love to share with songbirds that would really help them?
Yeah, well, we did a study this last about a year ago on twang and sort of measuring what is twang and what is not twang, and the research is still going on. But
now,
you
for
know,
those who don't know what twang is, could you just give a quick demonstration?
Well, absolutely. If I'm adding twang to my voice, it's one of these sorts of things right here.
Wow, that sounds really, really, really pleasant, Justin.
Yeah, right. And so on its own, of course, it sounds really kind of obnoxious, but as a vocal quality added to other sounds, it can sound really great and is very necessary. So as you know, Kerri, and the audience probably knows, you got to make a lot of weird and wild sounds to be a great singer, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And we're sort of turning the dial on different knobs of the voice, and as you isolate things, it can sound very odd, but then you put it all together and it sounds great. So twang is one of those. Twang is one of those things. Sometimes research can be very difficult to read and very difficult to process, but I'll just sort of talk about twang real briefly. Basically, we've got several ways that you can make your voice brighter. Okay. One of those things would be to
raise your larynx up really high.
Okay. Another one would be to shrink the size of your pharynx. Another one would be to put your tongue in a certain place that encourages a brighter kind of sound back there. Another one is to lift your tongue up like this, like an E kind of vowel. And another one would be to spread your embouchure. All of these things combine in different elements, in different ways, to make our ear say, I hear a twang sound right now. So I hope that is helpful for some people.
Cool. So how would you then apply something like that, like the knowledge of you know, twang, like into a contemporary song or something like that, to actually help a singer to make it sound better and feel better?
Well, I suppose we would especially need this if the voice was too dark. And sometimes people do have a voice that's too dark. And so in knowing that twang is a brightener for the voice, we just sort of have to decide you know, which of those elements is going to be the one that we'll select, right? Sometimes raising the larynx is a great idea because in certain styles, we need that sound of a higher larynx position. But sometimes you don't want to raise the larynx, and it might cause some tension. For example, to sing a vowel in a nice, pure kind of way, we don't want to be spreading everything out like that.
Yeah.
But there are times for, say, a high belted note that you might want that shape because it helps it resonate in a better way. So it's kind of knowing that there's different ways to brighten the voice, and you want to pick different ways depending on what's going on.
I love that. I mean, it's so fascinating and just so exciting that our voices can do so many different things, and we've got so many different choices as singers, you know, and that kind of leads me to my next question, which is, you know, about vocal anatomy. I mean, why do we care about vocal anatomy, and how can that actually help, you know, say the beginner singer who's just like, I'm just trying to sing in pitch, you know what I mean? Like, why do I need to know about vocal anatomy?
Oh, knowing about vocal anatomy it's a game changer. It really makes a difference. Each little piece and part has a different effect. And it's fine to just sort of sing and imitate and get the sounds right. But when you know that if you adjust your larynx, this happens. If you adjust your lips, this happens. If you adjust your soft palate, this happens. Really allows you to be more specific and more of a master of your craft. So I think anybody looking to master their craft is going to want to know something about what's going on in there and how they can control it. The only thing to be careful of is just overthinking and getting in one's head, because it's great to be technical and know what's going on, but at the end of the day, you also have to tell a story and connect to your lyrics and not be thinking about the technique all the time. So singing is the great question: to think or not to think? That is the question. And the answer really is that we need both. As a vocalist, you need to have time to think, learn, put your voice together very specifically, and then also throw that away and sing from the soul.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. No, I actually really appreciate your very balanced point of view on that, because you know, I mean, I totally resonate with that. It's both, right? It's not just one. So thank you for saying that, because I think you know, a lot of singers will be like, but I don't understand why I need to know vocal anatomy, and then other singers are like, but I need to think about it so much, I'm trying to get it right, I have to be perfect, you know. So hopefully this sort of helps them to kind of find that middle ground, you know.
I hope so.
Yeah. Now, recently, I got super excited because you started a new website, and oh my goodness, being the singing geek that I am, I kind of just went, "Woo, I'm going to devour this. This is awesome."
Cool.
Now, so tell us about it, vocalpedagogy.com, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what inspired it. What, you know, how is it going to help singers?
Well, I'll tell you what inspired it first. The longer I go, the more I see the value in appreciating others, and especially appreciating those who came before us. And I want to make sure that I have done something very significant to make sure that anybody that was a teacher of mine, was a mentor of mine, or who made a contribution to the vocal community, I want to make sure they are recognized. And those people who are being recognized, I want to give them a chance to recognize people that help them. And so vocal pedagogy is just meant to be purely a tribute site where we are just trying to make sure that people know about the great folks who are doing great things. Because a lot of times, some of the greatest teachers and pedagogues and researchers out there, nobody knows who the heck they are or what they've done. And you know, that's a little bit of a shame sometimes. And so vocal pedagogy is going to become more and more a place where you can go on there and really learn about so many different people who have contributed and are contributing, both in history and in today's world. So Yeah.
Amazing. So fantastic resource. I encourage everyone to go and check it out.
Yeah, it's.
Now,
I will
Justin,
say, I'm sorry, Kerri. It is very new. So what you see there when you go there, good folks, is going to be about 100 times as comprehensive as it is right now. It's only a few months old.
oh yeah, no, for sure. But already, I mean, there's still, you know, so many resources there. Even just your list of like books to read and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's all very valuable stuff. So, and
Oh, I do want
wish
them
you
to
all
go.
the best. Sorry, what's that?
I do want them to go. Don't get me wrong. I want them to go.
Go and check it out, everyone. Yeah, no, but you know, I think it's a very valuable resource, and all the best as you continue to grow it, as you continue to add content to it and everything. But I just love the sentiment behind it, which is you really want to honor the greats. You know, people have really contributed to your life in vocal education, and you just want to kind of pass it on. And you know, I think that's wonderful. So thank you so much, Justin.
Sure.
Now, Justin, it has been an absolute delight to have you on the show today. Do you have any sort of last encouraging parting words that you would like to express to songbirds around the globe?
I do. You can't stop. Don't stop. And don't let anybody stop you. Because if what we said about singing is true, and I believe it is, nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
Singing is your gift. It's a gift that you've received, and it's a gift that you can give. And it's so, as we said, so intertwined with the person you are and the things that you have to say to us, to the world. You must not stop. Just keep on going. I know it can get very discouraging, but the best thing to do when you're discouraged is sing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Whew, okay, that was that was a really heartfelt word that you just said there. So thank you so much, Justin. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. All the best with everything that you're doing as you continue to impact the vocal community and singers all around the globe. Thank you so much again for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you're doing and have done, Kerri.
Thanks, Justin. See you next time.
Okay, all right.
Oh my goodness, like what incredible gold did we just experience there, songbirds? You know, I would love you to go and check out Justin's links. They're all below in the description box. So his website and also social media. Now, if you liked this interview, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that you can actually know whenever I drop new content. Now, if you really found this content encouraging today and you really want to just go to the next level in learning how to, you know, sing with joy and sing for joy, go and watch my video right here on how to love your voice. It's going to give you some really encouraging tips. Especially for those days when you just really don't love your voice, you know, we've all had them. I have them all the time. Go and check out that video. And if you want to go deeper and you want to learn more about vocal technique, please go to thesongbird.com and check out my online courses. Always believe in you, Songbird. See you later.